Hey folks, today we're going to be taking a look at the 1984 mail-away G1 Transformers Time Warrior Watch. So hit that like button right now to help support the video, and be sure to stick around for more. Hey guys, M here from Transformers and Video Games, and welcome back to the channel. A big thank you to anyone who checked out my short teaser video for the G1 Transformers Autobot Watch, also known as the Time Warrior. This was a mail-away Transformers promotion, available in the mid-1980s, and the focus of today's much longer video. For any of you who aren't familiar with vintage mail-away Transformers promotions, or just want to join me for a little trip down memory lane, here's a little bit of a refresher for you. With the purchase of most early G1 Transformers, Hasbro included a promotional leaflet that usually told a brief story about the war between the Autobots and the Decepticons, and at least in the early days included a number of figures that you could only order directly from Hasbro that weren't available for purchase at retail. The promotion that we're going to be taking a look at today was called Reinforcements from Cybertron and included this brief story shown on the page on the right. Here it says, their struggle began on a faraway planet, light years from Earth, heroic Autobots and evil Decepticons, robot against robot. But as the battle continues here on Earth, the tide turns against the Autobots. A plea for help is sent to Cybertron, but does anyone still remain on the war-torn planet to receive it? You'll soon know the answer. Miraculously, an emergency shipment of reinforcements is sent hurling through space toward Earth. Shouts are heard throughout Autobot Command Headquarters. They're here, the reinforcements from Cybertron have arrived. Optimus Prime, the Autobot commander, turns to a junior officer and says, "I knew they wouldn't let us down." In the shipment are Power Dashers, sleek mini racers, Autobot digital watches, and Omnibots, the newest form of Autobot. Now, after providing us with that riveting mini-story, Hasbro was sure to provide us with the exact information on how we could order some of these exciting reinforcements from Cybertron to add to our own collections. Here on the left it says, "Important, collect Transformers robot points." Printed on the packages of each Hasbro Transformers product are special robot heads. These robot heads are valuable. They're worth points that can be exchanged for special Transformers offers like the ones inside. Make sure that every time you buy a Transformers product, you clip and save your robot points. Then be on the lookout for special Transformers offers. With your robot points, you'll be prepared to take maximum advantage of these special offers. Now that we know how the robot points work, let's go ahead and open up the insert and see what cool promotional items were available. On the left, we have one of the three Power Dashers. In my opinion, these were the least interesting mail-away figures that were available at the time. Even as a kid back in the 80s, these were never on my radar as something to get. Now, having said that, the Omnibots were a completely different story. Here we had the choice of Downshift, which was a Toyota Celica, Camshaft, which was a Mazda RX-7, and Overdrive, which was a Ferrari, and my favorite of the three Omnibots at the time. Below that, we have the Time Warrior digital watch. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this was the first original Hasbro-related Transformers item that was ever produced. And by that, what I mean is that all of the early Transformers figures originally came from Takara Diaclone or microchange lines in Japan, but the Time Warrior watch was a new item that was produced by Hasbro and wasn't a carryover from a pre-existing line. The funny thing is that I don't remember anyone having one of these watches back in the day. So now that we've saved up enough robot points, it's time to head over to the order form on the right and make our selections. At the top it says, use this order form to send for your reinforcements. Here's all you do. Give us your name, address, and birthday at the bottom of this official Transformers order form, then complete the form and mail with the necessary robot points along with check or money order, no cash please, payable to Hasbro Industries, Inc. In the middle, we make our selections. Here the Power Dashers cost $4 plus 2 robot points. The Omnibots are $6 plus 4 robot points. And the Time Warrior digital watch was a whopping $10 plus 6 robot points. Perhaps that explains why the watch is much harder to find nearly 4 decades later. I'm guessing that far less of them were produced and sold by Hasbro as part of their mail-away promotion. Once you completed the form, you'd mail everything along with $1 shipping and handling to Hasbro Industries, Inc., then wait 6 to 8 weeks for your new figures to arrive. They specify on the order form that the offer expires June 30th, 1986, so sadly my extra robot points that I've saved over the years will never be put to use. Okay, so we've patiently waited 6 to 8 weeks back in the 80s for our reinforcements from Cybertron to arrive, and the day is finally here. We now have our Time Warrior watch in hand, so the first thing that we're going to want to do is take a look at the instruction manual to set the watch and make sure that we know what we're doing. Back in the 80s, this was a very important step. I've heard many stories about people breaking G1 Megatron or G1 Jazz, for example, because they didn't follow the instructions. Here they start off by telling us some pretty basic information, including the proper way to wear a wristwatch on your wrist, and the fact that you press the robot's chin to reveal the face of the watch. They suggest having a parent set the time and date, and the next couple of images go through setting the time, including the hour and minute, and how to select AM or PM when you're setting the time. When we flip it around to the reverse side, they provide detailed instructions on how to set the date and how to toggle back and forth between the date and the time. Like most simple digital watches from this era, displaying the time is the watch's default position, so if you push the blue button once to display the month and date, the time will return automatically after a few seconds. Moving along to the watch itself, the watch band can be adjusted up to 10 sizes, which would easily accommodate most wrist sizes for Transformers fans of all ages. What was really cool about the Time Warrior was the fact that the face of the watch was an Autobot faction symbol, and given the popularity of Transformers at the time, it would have been a pretty awesome timepiece to own. On the back side of the watch, there are 3 screws that you would likely remove to change the battery, and it says, "Copyright Hasbro 1984, made in Taiwan." The shiny silver appearance of the back casing of the watch would suggest that it's made out of a hefty die-cast metal, but it's actually all plastic and feels much lighter in hand than expected. I always wondered why they never made a Decepticon version of the watch, which would have been easy enough for them to do at the time, but maybe there just wasn't enough interest in the watch to warrant a Decepticon variant to be produced. If you watched my 13-second YouTube Shorts video, then this part is going to be sort of anticlimactic, but as indicated in the instruction manual, in order to transform the robot face into the watch, you simply push the button on the robot's chin to reveal the face of the watch. When the watch is open, you can see how the button activates the release on the right for the action feature to work. As you can see, my watch needs a new battery, but once I have it, I'll be able to sport this handsome wristwatch to work and be the envy of all my coworkers in the boardroom. Here's a quick look at the Time Warrior next to my Takara Pre-Transformers Microchange MC06 watch Robo. They look really cool together and are a great pair to have in the collection. If you have any interest, be sure to check out my review of the Microchange watch by taking a look at my Pre-Transformers playlist on my channel. I've also reviewed the silver chronoform version of the watch, but wasn't able to find it when I recorded this video to do the comparison. So through the magic of editing, here's what they would have looked like side by side. Okay guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up, but thank you very much for checking out the Mail-Away Transformers edition of my collector's guide to vintage 1980s Transformers. In conclusion, would I recommend adding the G1 Autobot Time Warrior watch to your collection? Well, let's put it this way. This is an expensive, hard-to-find item, but if you're a completionist or a very serious G1 Transformers collector, then this watch is a must-have for your collection and a very cool piece of Transformers history. For everyone else, I'd honestly recommend picking up one of the other mail-away Transformers figures instead. For example, the G1 Omnibots are great and still relatively affordable nearly 40 years later. As I mentioned earlier, G1 Overdrive was always my favorite, but Camshaft comes in a close second place. G1 Reflector is another great option, but this one's going to set you back a little bit of money, but at least you're getting 3 figures for the price of 1 if you decide to display it in robot mode. It also has the distinction of being a very early combiner, since the 3 robots technically combined to form the camera mode. Anyways, leave me a comment in the comments section, letting me know what you think of the Time Warrior watch, and be sure to also let me know what your favorite 80s mail-away Transformers figure was. Thanks again for watching, everyone. Take care.